If you looked at this quiz question about the adrenal cortex and chose increasing heart rate, you fell into a psychological trap. The prefix creates a mental shortcut. Seeing adrenal, your brain jumps to adrenaline, associating that with a pounding chest during a stressful situation. To answer this correctly, we need to correct that mental model. The adrenal gland is actually two completely distinct biological machines that just happen to be fused together in one package. We have to physically divide the organ into its inner and outer anatomical layers to understand what it actually does. Looking at this cross-section, we see two distinct factories. The dark inner core is the adrenal medulla, controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. During an emergency, it receives a rapid nerve impulse and pumps out epinephrine, also known as adrenaline. This diagram maps out that rapid sequence. The nervous system fires, the medulla releases adrenaline, and your heart rate accelerates immediately to prepare you for action. That sudden, rapid fight-or-flight response is entirely the work of the inner medulla. Now let's look at the thick outer layer, the adrenal cortex. It has zero involvement in your panic response. Instead, it relies on steroid hormones to manage your long-term physiological balance, producing two primary hormones for this job, cortisol and aldosterone. This logic map breaks down their specific roles. Cortisol regulates your metabolism and blood glucose levels, while aldosterone adjusts your water and sodium concentrations to control your blood pressure. While the medulla operates as a rapid-fire panic button, the cortex works continuously as a slow-release chemical manager, making sure your baseline metrics stay stable throughout the day. Let's test this anatomical division. Here's a blink cross-section alongside 3 physiological tasks. Pumping blood faster maps directly to the inner core, the medulla. Maintaining glucose levels and reabsorbing sodium to keep blood pressure steady belongs exclusively to the outer layer, the cortex. Your physiological speed and function depends strictly on which physical location inside the gland is doing the work. Now we can return to the original question. Which function is controlled by the adrenal cortex? We know immediately that increasing heart rate is an emergency response. We can eliminate it because that is the job of the medulla. That leaves us with the long-term maintenance of your internal environment. Regulating blood sugar and blood pressure is the correct answer. You beat the trap by ignoring the overarching word adrenal and looking specifically for the words medulla or cortex. This diagram gives you the complete breakdown. You have the inner medulla firing off adrenaline for immediate nervous system stress, sitting right inside the outer cortex, which uses cortisol and aldosterone for long-term hormonal balance. Mastering the endocrine system requires looking past the gross anatomy. A single organ will often house completely separate biological factories, each operating under its own distinct set of rules.